When Charlotte Summer stepped on the America's Got Talent Season 14 stage, no one expected her to be the vocal powerhouse she ended up being. By the end of her performance, she had the entire room hooked onto her every note, and it was very exciting to see how this musician's time on the show would play out. Unlike most contestants on the show, Charlotte actually had both professional singing and talent show experience on live TV as well, so she was way ahead of her fellow contestants in terms of feeling prepared for the competition. But as it turned out, neither her strong music abilities nor her experience with live reality shows ended up helping her in the long run. Though she was eliminated in the show's quarterfinals, it was very clear that Charlotte Summers was far from done. In fact, it seemed as though she'd just gotten started. So, join us as we take a deep dive into what really happened to Charlotte Summers from America's Got Talent. Born in Marbella, Spain, Charlotte Summers has had a heck of a career from a young age. The singer and dancer has been obsessed with entertaining ever since she was a young girl in school. In fact, she had a first stage appearance when she was in elementary school with a dance act in a performance of Les Miserables as Eponine. Soon afterward, when her family moved to the United States, Charlotte continued with a passion for singing, striving to achieve what most musicians achieve much later in their careers. And with a voice like that, it was no surprise that she grew up performing both off and on screen, years before she would get to showcase her stunning vocals at the America's Got Talent stage. Throughout her childhood, Charlotte's passion took her from one singing competition to another, and she even managed to win many of them. She started posting videos of her covers on YouTube back in 2015. In the same year, she also sung her song Unicorn for the first time, which is also, incidentally, one of her most popular songs of all time on Spotify. And so she spent more time doing talent shows and competitions. And by the time Charlotte made it to the big stage that would give her biggest chance yet, she had accumulated an impressive list of accolades to her name. She kept posting covers and new original songs on YouTube simultaneously, and did gain a pretty good following on the website. In 2017, she performed at the Marbella Luxury Weekend in Puerto Banús, after which she was invited to do an interview with her sister at Afrikaans Moda. The same year, she also performed at a Landa Hotel in Marbella with her sister in support of the Butterfly Skin charity, and by October, she'd had her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in Hollywood Boulevard. In 2018, the singer released another single, Lifting Me Up on YouTube, all before she was set on appearing on NBC's Little Big Shots, a show where she'd ultimately find her footing as a singer and be interviewed by Steve Harvey not once, but twice, experiences she described as some of the most memorable ones in her life. In fact, right before she went on America's Got Talent, Charlotte won a Best Singing competition in Japan, where she sang beautiful renditions of classics like Freddie Mercury's Born to Love You and Frank Sinatra's New York, New York. Unsurprisingly, by the time Charlotte had made it to America's Got Talent Season 14, she'd had a bunch of experience with singing on stage. That's probably why, unlike most people who audition at a platform of this magnitude, Charlotte was fearless and excited about the opportunity. In fact, when Simon tried to ask about how she might have felt, she responded by saying that she was excited to meet him more than anyone else. Oh, and when asked what she'd do with her $1 million prize money, Charlotte had something incredibly funny to say. Turns out Charlotte would have bought a guinea pig with her winnings in this hypothetical scenario and named it Simon Cowell. She even went as far as saying that she'd get her sister another pig and would have had her call him Howie. And boy, was she determined to get those guinea pigs. Her performance of Screamin' Jay Hawkins' I Put a Spell on You left everyone in the room speechless. And even beyond the room, Charlotte managed to garner over 23 million views on a YouTube audition video alone. Charlotte's vocals and surprisingly deep voice, coupled with her amazing energy on stage, made people wonder why she didn't get the golden buzzer. And there, especially when all the judges and audience members were impressed enough to give her a standing ovation. Regardless, when the time came for Charlotte to impress the judge cards, she sang her own rendition of Leslie Gore's You Don't Own Me, another perfect song pick on her end, since this performance of hers too was met with a standing ovation from judges and all the audience members. At the quarterfinals, though, is when Charlotte took a hit. She chose to perform Shirley Bassey's Diamonds Are Forever, and like her other performances, absolutely nailed it. However, unlike the last two times when she performed an older, more mature song, the judges felt as though this song did not fit her age or personality. Now, this was a sentiment not many people understood, especially given how it almost seemed like singing that song itself was not Charlotte's decision, but someone of higher authority. Some people felt that for the judges to all of a sudden accuse Charlotte of singing something too old did not make much sense, especially since the other songs she'd sung on the show have been much older than Diamonds Are Forever. Unfortunately, this snowballed into Charlotte being eliminated on that very episode, something not a lot of viewers were especially happy about, especially since they'd been seeing her on TV well before she was on America's Got Talent. In fact, people adored the singer so much that they kept hoping she would return as the wildcard entry to reclaim the victory that was taken from her so soon. That, of course, did not end up happening. Around this time, Charlotte was also making appearances on a Spanish show called Menudo Noche, where she'd occasionally sing before and during her run on AGT. Even though it hasn't been that long since season 14 of America's Got Talent aired, especially with all that's come after it, Charlotte Summers has managed to make waves in the industry with her talent and sparkling personality. Even though she went back to posting covers on her social media accounts due to unforeseen circumstances, in 2020, like most of us, you can clearly tell something shifted in Charlotte's attitude. During her time at home, Charlotte seemed to be making the most of it. In a social media post, she wrote that she'd been writing, practicing, dancing, playing, and was hoping that she could tell her fans about her new project very soon. She even lent her incredible vocal talent to the Youth in Motion online charity concert, a philanthropic event that resonated widely and managed to amass a commendable sum of over $2 million. In February 2021, while she was doing her usual covers, she teamed up with DreamWorks for a fun project. They dropped the video on the DreamWorks Espanol channel, where Charlotte sang Amor Haré Todo for the Trolls 2 movie, and the YouTube video managed to garner over 346,000 views. Around this time, Charlotte also posted about performing at the Downtown Music Fest in Augusta, Georgia in 2022. This was a big deal for her, since she's only performed at small venues in Spain so far after her time on AGT. Charlotte also released an original song, Giants, one that did really well, especially considering she's not actively signed to a label at the moment. The song, both written and composed by her, resonated really well with her audience, showcasing her artistic depth and ability to connect authentically through her craft. In September of 2022, she also busked in the streets, gathering quite a crowd for herself, with a beautiful performance of Sam Smith's I Am Not the Only One. Then, in December of 2022, Charlotte, who's always loved the Christmas season, deemed it fit to drop her own Christmas classic, Christmas is Here, Love is All Around. Soon after that, on International Women's Day, Charlotte released her song Can't Stand By, her most recent release, Picture on the Wall, released in October of this year. It seems like Charlotte is in no way letting her time on AGT hinder her musical progress. In fact, if anything, her time on the show seems to have spurred her to take a more determined approach to her music. When she's not doing things to help advance her musical career, Charlotte's traveling the world or hanging out with her friends, basically living her normal life as a pre-successful musician and a kick-ass university student. If anything, we can't wait to see what she gets up to next.